Good morning, children. So in today's class of current electricity, we'll be discussing about electrical energy and power. So some basic knowledge is required to calculate what is the total power consumed by so many appliances that we use in your household, or how to understand the power transmission. That means how is current traveling from the power station till it reaches your home. So to have a basic understanding of electrical circuits, today we'll start with two important definitions, that is electrical energy and power. To understand this electrical energy and power, I will take an example of a resistor. It can be any device. I am taking it as a resistor. So consider a resistance whose resistance is capital R. A current I is passing from A to B. We know current is the amount of charge transferred per unit time. So I can write it as delta Q by delta T or dQ by dt. See, when if current is moving from A to B in case of a resistor, we know current always travels from where to where? A high potential towards low potential. So VA minus VB is greater than 0. Now if I evaluate the change in potential energy in moving a charge delta Q from A to B, tell me what will be the change in potential energy, final potential energy, that means VB minus VA into the charge which you have transferred, that is delta Q. Since VA minus VB is greater than 0, VB minus VA will be definitely less than 0. So what is happening to potential energy when you are moving a charge from A to B? It is decreasing. So this decrease in potential energy will appear in the form of heat in case of a resistor, or in the form of heat in case of a toaster, in the form of light in case of an electric bulb, and so on. So whatever decrease you are observing in the potential energy, it is given out in the form of electrical energy in various forms, depending on the device what you are using. So this itself we call it as electrical energy. The amount of energy dissipated when a current or a charge transports from one point of the circuit to another point. So if I write this energy as E or delta E equals to VB minus VA, I will write it as the potential difference between A and B into what is the charge we have moved? Delta Q. And can I replace this delta Q as I into delta T? Potential difference into current into delta T. So this gives you the energy dissipated by this particular device, which is potential difference into current multiplied with time. Now bring this delta T to denominator. The rate at which this energy is dissipated, can I write it as potential difference into the current I? And we know the rate at which energy is lost. Can I call this as electrical power? So what is electric power equal to? V into I, potential difference multiplied with current. So if you are writing it as in terms of V and I, you can leave it this way. Or you can also express it in other forms. If I use from Ohm's law, since I am taking a resistor here, I will replace I as V divided by R. Then you can write it as V square by R. You can also write it as, so remove V as I into R, I square into capital R. So all these three relations are going to give you the various formulas for electric power. Either V into I or V square by R or I square into capital R. Coming to its SI units, what will be the SI units? Power is always measured in watt, represented as W. But here coming to electricity, we will be using one very commonly used unit for measuring electrical energy. Energy is generally measured in joules. But in current electricity, apart from joules, we also use one more commonly used unit, that is kilowatt hour. What is 1 kilowatt hour? Kilo is 10 power 3. What is joule per second? Hour is 3600 seconds. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 36 into 10 to the power 5 joules. Okay, remember this conversion. This itself we call it as 1 unit. Okay, when you measure the current bill. Okay, number of units. 1 unit is 1 kilowatt hour. For electrical appliances, it will be written, no? What is the power consumed? It consumes 1 unit per day, 2 units per day. What is the meaning of 1 unit here? 1 unit is 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, which is 36 into 10 to the power 5 joules. So remember this two definitions as well as the unit. Again I repeat, when you are making a charge move from one part of the circuit to another part of the circuit, there is a change in potential energy. The decrease in potential energy appears in some other form depending on your element. If it is a resistor, it appears in the form of heat. If it is a bulb, it appears in the form of light and so on. And the rate at which this energy is dissipated, dE divided by dt or delta E divided by delta T. We call it as electric power. And commonly used unit for electrical energy is kilowatt hour. It's also called as 1 unit in our general terms. Okay, now let us see how to evaluate the total power consumed when appliances or devices are connected in series and parallel. So here I will be talking about bulbs, but you can apply for any device. Okay, say I have bought 3 different bulbs and I am connecting them in series. Okay, so to a power supply, voltage is V. So whenever we buy a bulb, the bulb will have a power rating. Okay, if you just observe the package of it, you can see it will be written like this: 40 watt, 220 ohms. Okay, the meaning is if you apply 220 volts across the bulb, it will give you an output of 40 watt. Okay, so this is called the rating of a bulb. Rating is always given by 2 terms. First one is power, second one is the voltage which you are supposed to operate. See, I have got 3 different bulbs. Okay, I will name this as rating P1, V, 220 volts. Second is having a rating P2, V. And this is having a power P3, V. And what is the voltage I have applied here? That is also equal to V. But when all the 3 bulbs are connected in series, we are interested in knowing what is the total power consumed by this circuit. To get the total power consumed, I'll find out what is the resistance of these bulbs. Okay, so what is resistance in terms of power? See, we have written already, power is equal to V square divided by R. So for the first bulb, I will write the resistance as V square by R1. Implies, what is R1 equal to? V square divided by P1. Similarly, what is the resistance of the second bulb? Its operating voltage divided by its power, V square by P2. Or R3 is equal to V square divided by P3. So once you know the resistance of all the 3 bulbs, okay, we have already studied when devices are connected in series, what is the equivalent resistance when resistors are in series combination? R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. This R I will write it as V square by P equivalent. The equivalent power should be V square by P1 plus V square by P2 plus V square divided by P3. Anyway, this V square term gets cancelled. So what is the equivalent power? 1 by P equivalent is equal to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2 plus 1 by P3. So this gives you the equivalent power when bulbs are connected in series. So remember this formula. For series combination, total power consumed by the devices is equal to 1 by P equivalent is 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2 plus 1 by P3. Now what would happen if they are connected in parallel combination? If I connect all the 3 bulbs in parallel, I'll keep the resistances as it is, R1, R2 and R3. Change the circuit to parallel combination. the three appliances or bulbs are connected in parallel. Okay, let this be P1V, its rating, P2V, P3V, applied voltage is also a V. Now how do we write the equivalent resistance? 1 by R equivalent is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Substitute the values. What will you get? P equivalent as P1 plus P2 plus P3. So this will be your formula for total power consumed, okay, when bulbs are connected in parallel across an voltage which is equal to the rating voltage. Okay, rated voltage is V and you are also applying the same voltage, that is V. In such a case, the total power will be P1 plus P2 plus P3. So remember these two relations for calculating the total power. So, but as I told you, we don't prefer series combination in household networking or household connections. Okay, now that you have learned what is the total power consumed in series and parallel combination, now let us see how to make the household power supply or power distribution system. That means how do we connect the devices in our household circuits. Say from the mains, okay, from outside we are going to get two wires. Okay, I am talking about a 2-wire line. Okay, this is your meter, okay, for measuring the power consumed by you. And from here we get two wires. One is called a live wire, okay, which is at an voltage of 220 volts. In India we will be using about 220 volts AC, but this 220 is the RMS value, root mean square value. We will discuss about ACs later. So for the time being, you remember it as root mean square value. And the other line is earth, which is at 0 volts. And we call this as neutral. Okay, there is certain color also we use while making the household connections. Okay, live wire and neutral wire. Generally for live wire, they use red or black. Whereas for neutral, we are supposed to use blue, but this is a general coding which we are supposed to use, but nowadays wires are coming in various colors and they use it accordingly. And for earthing, okay, there is one more wire for metal objects. That means when your device is having a metal body, we will have a 3 pin. The third pin is for earthing. Earth wire will always be green in color. Okay, I am here showing you two wires, 2-wire line. One is a live wire and the other one is neutral wire. See, before you give your connections to various rooms of your house, we connect one fuse here. Where is the fuse connected in? In the live wire. Okay, sometimes we call this as MCB, main circuit breaker. And after that, from here I will show you how do we connect it to two different rooms. One for kitchen and say one for living room. Say for a kitchen, okay, I will take one live wire, use another fuse here. Second fuse. And one wire I will take from here. And these are the sockets. Okay, to connect various appliances. Okay, I am showing you different sockets. Okay, now I will show one bulb also connected. For example, a switch and a bulb. And these sockets you can connect to different appliances like mixers, grinders, toasters, refrigerators and so on. And then coming to one more room. From the mains, we are also giving the connections to another room, say living room. Take two wires again, one from the line. Again we have to connect a fuse, one from earthing, and these are the sockets. Okay, to connect your appliances. Why do we make use of fuses, so many fuses in the rooms? Okay, it is to protect short circuiting. Okay, so let us see what is the action of this fuse and how do you select this fuse and then put it for safety measurement. See, we add a fuse so that whenever you draw a current greater than required. Okay, say for example, in a kitchen, I'll be using say 4 devices, a mixer, a bulb, then a refrigerator and an oven or toaster, any appliance. Say mixer, it is a 100-watt device. Say bulb is another 100 watt, mixer is 1000 watt. Refrigerator, I am taking 1500 watt, and oven I will take it as some value 800 watt. Okay, so some wattage, whatever wattage you are using. So what is the total power you are consuming in the kitchen? Are they connected in parallel combination? Yes, all of them are in parallel. So what is the total power consumed in the kitchen if you switch on all the 4 devices? Calculate. We know total power is P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4. Add all of them. 1000 plus 1500, 2500, 8 plus 1 plus 700. What is the value? 3200 watt. So this is the total power I have taken as an example. At what voltage we are operating all of them? Say 220 ohms. So how much is the current drawn by the fuse wire or by the wire? Total current I is equal to total power divided by total voltage. P divided by V. Calculate it. P is 3200 divided by 220. Okay, simplify it. Okay, nearly 15. Okay, approximate value I am taking. So see, we have got it as 15 ampere, around 15 ampere. So select a fuse whose amperage is around 15, approximately 15 or 16 amp. So if you use a fuse wire of 15 to 16 amp, it will elevate the current. Okay, this one. This fuse is of 15 amperes. Say I have selected a 15 ampere fuse, so or I will use a 20 ampere fuse, slightly greater, little above the current what we are going to draw. Now what is the use of this fuse? By mistake, when you draw a current which is greater than 20 amps, say you have connected a number of appliances or there is a short circuit in your kitchen and suddenly it has drawn a very large magnitude of current. When your current exceeds this value of 20, immediately this fuse wire is going to melt. Because while manufacturing this fuse wire, we select a material which has a low melting point so that whenever more amount of current passes through it, fuse gets heated up, and when this heat or when current exceeds 20 ampere, it is going to melt. And the moment it melts, see there is a disconnection here. Current will automatically stop to your appliances. So this is a safety measure that is generally taken while making a household power supply connections. Similarly with the living room, depending on whatever devices which we are using there, they calculate the total current drawn by it and fix a fuse whose amperage or whose value of I is slightly greater than the maximum value of current what we are going to draw. The same thing is done even in this main circuit breaker also. If you draw any current which is greater than required, this is going to burn and it will disconnect the current supply to your home so that your devices are safe from large magnitudes of current. So this is the use of a fuse wire. And this is how we make a household power supply connections. So hope you understood how to make the household power supply connections. So this is a general information that we. Okay, now let us see why in heavy appliances which have metal body we use a 3-pin plug. Okay, what are the 3 pins? Hope you know them. There are 3 pins for plugs. This is called grounding or earthing. Okay, this one is live and the last one is neutral. Okay, so generally for heavy appliances such as iron boxes, washing machines, then grinders, we will have a 3-pin plug. The third pin is called as grounding. So why is grounding necessary? So let us look into it. Say I am taking an iron box which has a metal body. Okay, these are the 3 wires. I'll represent it as resistance, live and neutral. Okay, live and neutral will go to these 2 sockets. There will be one more wire which is connected to ground and the metal body. Okay, the body of the iron box. So since you have connected it to the metal body of the iron box, okay, this will go to neutral, and this wire is the live wire which is going to one more point to which we plug in the power. See, by mistake, if any time live wire is cut and it has come in contact with the body of that particular device and you are holding it, if there is no earthing, this high voltage will pass through your body and you will be electrocuted or you will receive a very heavy shock. To avoid this, what do? They connect this earthing wire which is directly connected to the ground, okay, from the whole building. Now you see, if even live wire comes in contact with your metal body, it will pass through the metal surface and then it will be earthed. And even if you touch the body of this particular box, you will not receive a heavy shock. It will be very, very negligible value. So for avoiding the shocks, whichever appliance has a metal body, this earthing or grounding is necessary. So that is the reason why we will be using 3-pin plugs for heavy appliances. Okay, now that you understood how to make the household power supply connections, now let us see how power distribution systems are going to work. That means from the power station till it reaches your house, how is the transmission of power going to occur? See, most of you must have seen one device called transformer in the streets, and on that it will be written 11,000 volts or 11 kilovolts, danger, don't go near the transformer. Why is it necessary to send such a high voltage to the transformer when we need only 220 volts for our houses? So to understand this, look at this small example. Okay, say we have a small village, okay, with say 10 houses. Okay, this is only for an example. And each house requires a power of 1000 watt. Okay, minimum of 1000 watt is required for each house. How many such houses I am considering for the village? 10 houses. So what is the total power required for this particular village? 10 into 10,000, 10 into 1000, 10,000 watt. Okay, I'll assume that these are the small houses. Each house needs a power of 1000 watt, which is a minimum value. And the power station is not just beside the village. Okay, it is far away from the village. Say it is about 10 kilometers from the village. Okay, so here you have the power station. Okay, what is the distance I took? 10 kilometers. So from power station to the village, we need the lines, electric cables. Okay, this is going to carry, or this is a live wire and this one is neutral. See, do we use thick cables coming from the power station till the transformer or till your houses? See, without using a transformer, I am showing you how power distribution occurs. So because these are metal wires connected between the power station to the village, they will have some resistance. So let us suppose the resistance of these cables is 0.5 ohm per kilometer. Okay, we have minimized the resistance because length cannot be decreased, area of cross section is increased, and for every kilometer it offers a resistance of 0.5 ohms. So what will be the total resistance of the cables then? 10 kilometer this side and 10 opposite, total 20 kilometers. So 20 into 0.5. So what is the total resistance of the cable? 20 into 0.5, it will be 10 ohms. Already we have taken a minimum possible value. So during this power transmission from the power station to the village, these wires will dissipate some energy in the form of heat. Okay, we know whenever current passes through a resistor, energy is dissipated in the form of heat. Calculate how much of energy is dissipated or power is dissipated. Power dissipated is I square into resistance of cable. So now I will calculate the current. How to get the current? Current is equal to the power what the village requires by the voltage at which it is using. See at what voltage we are supplying it to the villages. I am taking it as 200, though it is 220 to make the number easy. Power required is 10,000. This is the power required divided by voltage, which is 220 whole square, into resistance of cable. So this is the amount of power lost during transmission. So with this data, let us calculate and check how much of power is lost during transmission, because we know all these particular values. So what is the power required? I took 10,000 divided by, at what voltage we are supplying the current? 200 whole square into resistance of cable. I took it as 10. So will this give me the power dissipated? See, what is the power dissipated? 100 by 2, it is 50, 50 square. 25,000. That is 25 kilowatt. Now just check out, to supply a power of 10 kilowatt to a village, how much of power is wasted during transmission? 25 kilowatt. Now tell me, is it affordable? Definitely no, because a very large magnitude of power is wasted during this transmission from a 10 kilometer power station to a very small village. So to avoid this or to decrease the power dissipated, let us see what are our chances. See, this is your formula I have written for power dissipated. Is it power required whole square by V square into RC? RC, I told you already, we took minimum possible value, so further decrease is not possible. Then what are the two ways to decrease this power dissipated? Either I have to decrease P or I have to increase the voltage. See, we cannot decrease the power required. See, if the villages are requiring a power of 10 kilowatt, we can't tell them that we cannot supply because of energy loss. You adjust in 1 kilowatt. Not possible. So this is not possible to decrease. What is the only way then left out? To increase the voltage. So instead of supplying the power at 200 volts, if you supply the power at 11,000 volts, a very high voltage, if voltage increases, power dissipated automatically decreases. Okay, again I will write the equation. What is power dissipated coming out to be? Power required by voltage of transmission whole square into resistance of cable. P required cannot be decreased. RC is already decreased. Further decrease is not possible. What is the only way to decrease the power dissipated during transmission? By increasing the voltage at which we are supplying the current. But there is a disadvantage. If you supply 11,000 volts to the villages, is it quite dangerous value or not? It is. So therefore, we add a device called a transformer. Okay, here we will add one transformer. Okay, there will be two transformers during power transmission. Okay, look at the two transformers. One is near the power station. Another is near the village. So look at how the actual power distribution system works now. They produce around 400 volts. We require 220, but they are producing 440. And here they use a transformer which is called a step-up transformer. So the step-up transformer increases the voltage from 4000 to 11,000 volts. And that 11,000 will travel. When 11,000 volts is passing through these wires, V has increased, power dissipated has automatically decreased. Again, when it reaches your village, we don't give all this 11,000 volts to them. Again, we use a transformer which is a step down transformer. This will decrease the voltage from 11,000 to 220. So just before supplying it, we are going to step it down from 11,000 to 220, and while sending it, we increase the voltage from 400 to 11,000. Now calculate what will be the power lost during transmission if you replace this 200 with 11,000 or 10,000. Okay, then will there be a very high decrease in power dissipated? A very less amount of power gets dissipated. So this is how the power distribution system is going to work. And here they will ask you two questions. Why do we transmit power at very high voltages? To reduce the power dissipated during transmission. And what is the use of a transformer? To decrease the voltage from 11,000 to the required value, that is 220. So how many transformers are we using? One is a step-up transformer and the other one is a step-down transformer. So this is all about the power distribution system.